You ever see a crisis hit and one business just snaps, while another seems to bounce right back, maybe even stronger? Well, that's not luck. It's all by design. Today we're going to unpack the secrets to building a supply chain that's not just strong, but truly resilient. Our story kicks off on a very specific day, January 16th, 1994. This was a day that was about to put one of the world's biggest logistics companies through the ultimate test.
So, a monster blizzard slams into Louisville, Kentucky, and it completely shuts down the global air hub for UPS. Roads closed, travel ban, over 100 planes just stuck on the ground. For a company that's all about movement, this was a full-stop grade A catastrophe.
But here's the crazy part. In just 1 week, they were back up and running. So, how on earth did they pull that off? How do you recover from a total shutdown that fast when for anyone else, it would have been months of chaos? The answer to that question is what this whole thing is about. The secret, it turns out, is something called supplier relationship management, or SRM for short. And this isn't just about, buying stuff. It's about building these powerful crisis-proof partnerships.
So what is SRM really? Well, think of it like this. It's the mirror image of how you treat your best customers. It's a whole strategy for managing how you work with your suppliers, and the goal is always a win-win. It basically turns the simple act of buying things into a real strategic advantage.
And this quote from Marcia Glenn at Kraft Foods just nails it. She said, "We want to earn access to their best ideas and their most talented people by being the company whom they trust most. It's all about being a partner they want to help, not just another client on a spreadsheet."
To build something that can bounce back, you first have to understand what a crisis actually does to a business. And what's wild is that it doesn't matter what causes it, a blizzard, a pandemic, whatever. Disruptions tend to follow a pretty predictable pattern. So let's break that down. We can boil it all down to 4 basic phases. First, boom, the event happens. Then comes the immediate impact. That's when performance just falls off a cliff. After that, you've got the recovery, which is always this long, hard climb back up. And finally, you're in the aftermath, dealing with all the long-term fallout, like angry customers or broken trust.
And when you see it on a chart like this, it's pretty stark. You're humming along at normal performance, and then the event hits, and whoosh, this terrifyingly steep drop to your lowest point. And the recovery, it's almost never as fast as the fall. It's this slow, gradual climb back to what becomes your new normal, which, by the way, could be way lower than before if you're not ready for it.
And this gets us to the really crucial point: how you manage your relationships with your suppliers before a crisis ever hits. That's what determines how deep you fall and how fast you climb back out. It's the difference between just surviving and actually being built to thrive.
And the research shows there are really 2 ways to play this. The companies that just survive are always focused on short-term costs. They react to problems. They treat suppliers like they're totally interchangeable, and the recovery is long and painful. But the ones built to thrive, they focus on long-term value. They see a crisis as a chance to innovate, and they treat their suppliers like true partners. And you guessed it, their recovery is way faster, and they often come out of it even stronger.
Okay, so how do you actually do that? How do you become one of those Thrive companies? Well, it all comes down to a different way of thinking. A mindset built on 3 really powerful pillars. These are the absolute building blocks for real resilience. Pillar number 1 is this: start seeing your suppliers as your secret weapon. This idea comes from something called resource-based view theory. It basically means that your unique, trusted relationships with suppliers, those are strategic assets. They're resources your competitors can't just go out and buy. They're part of what makes you, you.
Next up, Pillar 2. You have to understand the power dynamic. This is rooted in resource dependency theory, and it's all about being brutally honest. Who really needs whom in this relationship? Because when a crisis hits, knowing that power balance is absolutely critical to get through the chaos and make sure you're not left high and dry.
And finally, pillar number 3, obsess over flow. Now, this is kind of a modern spin on an old factory idea. In today's world, the smooth, uninterrupted flow of data and information is every bit as important as the flow of physical stuff. So when disaster strikes, your number 1 job is to get that flow of goods, of data, of communication moving again as quickly and smoothly as possible.
Okay, so we've got the mindset down, the 3 pillars. But how do you actually put that into action? Well, it all comes together in a really simple but powerful playbook.
Here it is, your resilience playbook. You can remember it with the acronym CIMO.
First up, C is for context. Look at your own resources, your people, your tech, your processes. Are they ready for a fight? Then I for intervention. This is where you proactively use that three-pillar mindset to manage your suppliers. The M is for mechanism. How do you do it? By building real relationships based on deep trust and mutual benefit. And finally, O, the outcome. You get a truly resilient organization that has a competitive advantage that lasts.
So I'll leave you with this one crucial question to think about. When you look at your own business, your own projects, your own network, ask yourself honestly, is your supply chain built to break or is it truly built to bounce back? Because that answer could make all the difference in the world.